What's up, everybody? You already know who it is. It's your boy Rance. I'm back again with some weekly goodness. It's so good to be back, man. Woo! Today we are ranting about something really good. We've all been there. Well, I've been there, and I still am there. We are ranting about kung fu movies, baby. Roll the intro.
Just hit a button, Morty. Give me a beat.
Oh man, okay, alright,
As a kid, watching these movies, I didn't know what it was that appealed to me. The endless violence, the cool names that they gave the fighting styles, the plot. Alright, I thought I should give some context to this video, so I'm going to break down the video into a few categories, which are 1. General overview of Kung Fu movies. 2. The era of Kung Fu movies. 3. Classical movies that made my childhood. And 4. The evolution of the Chinese Kung Fu movie. As the any other Chinese, the Kung Fu movie. Alright, anyway, never mind. Alright, let's start off with the overview. Alrighty then.
Alrighty then.
Kung Fu movies have quite a variety to them, which actually surprised me now that I actually did my research for these movies. As a kid, I just watched with zero regard for what the plot was. All I wanted as a kid was the watcha, whoa, yeah, and you know what I'm talking about. Now that I'm actually watching these movies like a grown up,
You serious?
they are actually more interesting now. Well, the movies from 2000, the year 2000 and onward. The rest are just way too cringe, bro.
Are you Brigadier Charles Shenwu Ford? Quite right. Now I think it's time you die.
Okay, that's it for the overview. It was a short overview. Next is the era of the Kung Fu films. Since I'm a huge fan of the Kung Fu films, I decided to just give a short history rant of the emergence of the films on the international scene. Well, the Kung Fu film genre was born in Hong Kong weirdly as competition against what was called wuxia, which was popular in Asia then. So the first Kung Fu films were the Adventures of Fong Sai-hyuk, which was a 2-part movie in the 1930s. But sadly, after scouring the internet, I found out there was no actual existing copies of the film. Damn it. This sparked the Asian film communities, and thus the explosion of Kung Fu films. The quick burst of the Kung Fu films actually died soon after that, but then resurfaced in the 1970s, along with the economic boom of the city of Hong Kong. And this was when the Kung Fu movies actually overtook the wuxia films that were their fated rivals. I feel like this is such a long... Anyway, excuse that. The resurgence was led by the legend himself, Bruce Lee, in a feature-length movie titled The Big Boss, which made its way onto the global scene and was an actual hit in the West. Woo! That's enough history for one video, right? Now, let's get into the juicy part of the video, the classics that made my channel. First up, we have the classic film that starred Wang Jiang Li as the antagonist, called The Invincible Arm. Well, that's the title of the movie. To be honest, after watching it again, I am still unclear on what was going on, but it was just a bunch of dudes fighting with spears and swords. Don't get me wrong, it was fun to watch. Some Chinese kung fu practitioners beating the snot out of each other. I mean, look at this beautiful chaos. It was fun to watch again. It gets a 6 out of 10 on the chaos meter. Next up, I watched one called Eagle vs. Silver Fox. It had Wang Jiang Li again as the villain. The plot needed work, and it was like the writers were so high on coke and were told to produce a script within the hour. Like honestly, you know when someone says trash, this movie's one. But even though I watched it like 100 times as a kid, so I even remember the plot. So let me just tell you what happened. So it takes place when this evil minister nicknamed Silver Fox is looking for some secret message from a guy who had it. And for some reason, after 5 minutes into the movie, they forget about this letter. And then the protagonist comes in looking for revenge against Silver Fox because he killed his father. And then he meets his love interest in a restaurant. And then somehow she just follows him. And then they try to beat up some homeless guy for his rice. I mean, I'm not making this up. I told you, trash. After they get their butts handed to them by this homeless dude, they somehow become friends. And then we get hits by like flashbacks of which we don't even know who they belong to. And then we see the protagonist somehow just gets detached from his friends and then goes to attack Silver Fox. Then he gets his butt kicked oh so beautifully. And then he needed help from his friends who he ditched to beat Silver Fox. I just put this movie in because I watched it growing up, but it gets a 3 out of 10 on the chaos meter. The fights weren't that great, but I have respect for Wang Jiangli. Next up, we have one by the legend himself, guys. Bruce Lee. It's freaking Bruce Lee. We have the legend whack some people around. Like, bro, I don't even care for the plot at this point. The man just started handing out beatings like he was the Oprah of Kung Fu, bro. You get a whooping. You get a whooping. Everybody's getting a whooping. Look under your chair. It's a whooping. I mean, this man, his face just said it all. And if his face didn't say it, he didn't communicate in any other language besides whoop ass, bro. I mean, listen to this. Oh, the movie title is Enter the Dragon. Honestly, all Bruce Lee movies were legendary. Yep, it's decided. I'm gonna make videos dedicated to the Bruce Lee movies. Okay, they all get 9 out of 10 on my chaos meter, bro.
Of course!
Yes, it's biased. I don't even care. Alright, let's talk about the evolution of the Kung Fu movie plot. If you ask me, the Kung Fu movie plot are the ones that have evolved greatly compared to any other genre of film. Let's take a look at the classics in the 70s setting. Aside from the films that starred Bruce Lee, the plot revolves around revenge, honor, which I understand that they base their plots on their history during different dynasties, such as Shaolin Temple, Eagle vs. Silver Fox, Revenge of the Lady Warrior, and many more. They were based on revenge. The genre experienced a decline after the death of the legendary Bruce Lee, and at the same time, Hong Kong was also in an economic recession. Cutting the history lesson short, the film industry shifted to comedy in the late 70s, and this in turn brought out a new subgenre known as Kung Fu comedy.
What the hell is that?
What does it mean when there's a picture of a skull?
Oh, good stuff.
This in turn brought about movies such as Shaolin Soccer, Drunken Master, The Accidental Spy. Well, the last one was actually the recent one, and just to name a few. Nowadays, due to the advancement of tech and cultural exchanges, the genre has evolved into something with a little bit more substance. Yeah, that's about it for this week's video. I wanted to keep this video as short as possible so that you guys aren't as bored by me. So if you like this video, please do give it a like. And if this is your first time here, please do hit the subscribe button and join the Rants community, even though it's very small, but I appreciate you guys. I really appreciate it. And that's it from the boy Rants. I will see you next time, and let the chaos take over. Peace.